last rally of Pierre Poilievre?
Well, I'm a local. I come from the Smith Falls and Carleton Place area. I went to the one in Kingston. I just want to show my support on the last day, and hopefully this really goes our way. We really need it this time.
How did you react when you saw the big headlines of legacy media saying that Pierre Poilievre might not even win his own riding?
No, that's simply incorrect. I mean, even I watched a couple even polling. Even 338 says a 97% chance that Poilievre is going to even win this rally. So it's completely just. It's even hilarious to say that it's fake. It's just completely ridiculous because even 338, which we all know is Liberal funded, is not even correct. So it's like, well, what's the point?
What do you see as the future for Canadians and for the West if the Liberals are winning tomorrow?
It's going to be a very interesting future. I think there's going to be a lot of disarray in Canada, especially even parts of the East, not even the West, but obviously the West, as we all know, Saskatchewan and Alberta is going to be in really rough times, especially with the industrial carbon tax and the emissions cap staying in place. And it's going to be a really, really rough time for the whole country if this happens and this goes this way. But obviously, we all hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, it's going to be extremely rough, especially for my generation, you know, and especially that housing being so ridiculous the way it is and everything. It's really hard to imagine a good way that this can go if Mark Carney wins.
The people today, why was it important for you to be at the last rally of Pierre Poilievre?
Well, you know, I met Pierre Poilievre about a year ago, and he introduced my son's band in Canada during Canada Day, and the man took an hour out of his time and went backstage with us, and he was one of us. He's not above us. He doesn't think that we're his minions. He's with us. And I trust this man with everything. And you know what? I was thinking about you tonight, and I was thinking, she doesn't need a security guard here. This is her security guard out here. We're all in here. I trust every one of these people. And why I'm here tonight, to thank him for his hard work over the years. I'm so proud this man has over 20 years in this business. We need experience. We don't need a billionaire again. We need to get hope, we need to get a future for our young people, and we need to be united because we are Canada, one of the best countries in the world. Amen.
When we see, according to the polls, we see that the people who are voting mostly liberals are the 50, 60 years old and more. How do you react to that?
I think it's absolutely crazy. I'm a boomer, I'm 75 years old. And I can tell you, a lot of my friends, a lot of my families are boomers, and they support Poilievre. And the polls, I think, are skewed to the nth degree. And we will find out tomorrow.
How did you react when you saw the headlines of legacy media saying that Pierre Poilievre might not even win his own riding?
Absolutely ridiculous. And it's just another ploy to discredit him. To make him look like a loser. The man is not a loser, number one. And I don't know if you know this, but the number of candidates riding in or in his election are something like 91 candidates. Come on a ballot. That's another Liberal ploy, and it's just dirty pool.
My last question is, if we see in a hypothetical situation where the Liberals are winning tomorrow, what do you think will happen to Canadians and the West?
Personally, if I was the West, and I love this country, my people, my French side of the family, we've been here since 1634. The last thing I want to see is separation either with Alberta or with Quebec. But you know, there comes a time when you have to say, I can't live in a fascist state anymore.
And quickly, how do you react when some columnists are trying to portray Pierre Poilievre as like a baby Trump?
I'm sorry, the baby.
I say, how do you react when you see that some columnists and legacy media are trying to portray Mr. Poilievre as a Trumpist?
A Trump? Oh, he's anything but. He has stood up from day one about Trump. But he did not slam the door. But you know what he did? He left the door open a crack for negotiation. Carney's coming off as this big tough guy. Well, we don't believe that for 1 minute. He's not the tough guy he thinks he is. And you know what? You need to negotiate. They're the biggest trade partners that we have. But we're not pushovers either. We're very kind, we're very gentle people until.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excellent regroupement de nos citoyens ici dans la capitale nationale. On est ici pour un mot, c'est le changement. Un changement pour une vie abordable, une vie sécuritaire et un Canada qui est plus fort. Allons voter pour le changement demain. Wow, what an incredible crowd. It's great to be back here near our home in Greeley. There's so many familiar faces. Anybody here from Greeley? You know, this, the night before the election, how many of you voted already? And how many are going to drag out friends and neighbors to go and vote for change tomorrow? It reminds me of one election. It was very, very close, and it was the night before. And actually, no, it was the night of, sorry. And it was around 15 minutes before the polls were closed. And we were out knocking on the doors of our supporters, begging them to get out and cast their ballots. We got to the house of this very elderly woman. And I said, can we count on you to get out and vote? You've got 15 minutes left. She said, no. I said, why not? She said, we're too old. We can't get out anymore. I said, we'll drive you. She said, well, we can't even make it to the car. I said, well, we'll carry you. She said, I'm very sorry, but I'm gonna call it a night. She closed the door. So I walked out into the street and I said, you know, there's about 10 minutes left. There's no other person I'm gonna be able to convince to get out to vote. I'm gonna go give it another shot. So I went back to her door and I pleaded. And she said, oh, all right. So we went in, we helped her husband down the stairs. We got to the door and we were about to walk out. She said, do I need anything? I said, well, you need some ID. She said, well, my husband hasn't been driving for 10 years. He's got no ID. So she had to go and scrounge up a bill. And so we brought them out. We got them to the car. There wasn't room enough for the two of us volunteers to jump in with the driver. So we stayed behind where they tore off to the polling station to try and make it just before the polls closed. Sure enough, it started to rain. And where we were in the pouring rain, a few moments later, they came back, and I went to our volunteer driver and said, did you make it in time? He said, we made it 1 minute before, and they closed early. So I banged on the door, and they opened it up, and I said, you have to let them vote. So they went in and voted, and they came back out and exercised their democratic right. And so we were helping them back into the house, and just as they were about to go in the door, I took the lady by the hand and I said, thank you, thank you, thank you for what you did. I know it wasn't easy. And she said, and who are you again? So I have no idea if she voted for me, but she voted for someone. The point of the story is get out and vote. Vote for change. Vote for a brighter future. Vote for your kids. Allons voter pour le changement. There is so much at stake in this election, my friends. This is the future of our country we're voting on. There are so many people.
something tender about it. There's something hidden about it. There's something all generations can have and can hold. We break down the walls and break out of the mold. Yeah, we fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place where freedom rolls. It's about it. There's something brand new about it. Yeah, you leave and you miss it, then come back and kiss it. You'll travel the distance, we're so proud of it. We fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place with freedom. Something tender about it. There's something hidden about it. There's something all generations can have and can hold. We break down the walls and break out of the mold. Yeah, we fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place with freedom. There's something brand new about it. Yeah, you leave and you miss it, then come back and kiss it. I'm the only one not listening. We're so proud of it. Everybody back for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place with freedom. Something tender about it. There's something hidden about it. There's something all generations can have and can hold. We break down the walls and break out of the mold. Yeah, we fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place with freedom. Something brand new.